Hello everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be speaking about the 1922D peace dollar, going over all of its history, including the history of the series, but also the specific one, first Denver Mint peace dollar. We're also going to talk about the VAMs, or some varieties where you can look closely and find some coins that are worth a lot more than their peers just because of some small things on the coin that collectors pay more for, and then go into some mint errors at the end. So again, like I said, this was the first Denver Mint coin, but 1921 and 1928, and then again in 34 and 35 are going to be the dates they made these. It was to commemorate World War I with a peace design, because that was their first, at that point it was the World War basically, and it was over. People were excited. They were also fulfilling a commitment to Great Britain through the Pittman Act, They needed to get them a bunch of silver so that they could sort of have confidence in their currency, because one of the tactics against the British was in their colonies to have rumors spread saying that they could not back up their currency with silver. So the United States did it at cost basically for an ally. The coins circulated mostly in the West, and that was because the West prefers hard money in general, though there were a lot more minted in the first few years compared to the later ones. So that was especially sort of true as things wore on. A lot of them were stored in bags of 1,000 and sort of stayed there for a long time and were released, in the 50s and early 60s. And then they struck some in 1964, but when it was really clear that they'd be selling for like $10 out of the gate and it was just going to benefit collectors and, a few really dealers, they melted all of them down, and none are known to this day. So the 1922D dollar specifically, again, it's the most common Denver Mint peace dollar. There are a lot of examples in Mint State 63 and 64, but because of some striking inconsistencies and, frankly, just not having really high quality striking, there's not a ton of Mint State 65s. The San Francisco Mint was really known for poor strikes. The Denver's a little bit better, but again, doesn't quite match up to the tried and true Philadelphia. Denver, I want to say they opened in like 1907. It was a pretty late opening. And there is often a lot of bag marks, just because we're sitting in bags and we're often being transported by rail all around the country to be used in banks or whatever. So a lot of them get sort of dinged up. You see, $90 for Mint State 63, nice jump to $200 in Mint State 64, and then a huge jump to Mint State 65, where they cost about $600, and there are over 15 million of them made, so by far the highest mintage on any of these Denver peace dollars. Now we'll get into some of the VAMs, so we're going to be looking really closely here, and this is going to be pretty expensive. We're doing all the Elite 30 and Top 50 VAMs. There's only 6 certified at PCGS, and there's no auction history, but it's a nice CUD die break right below the 1 that you can see pretty clearly. There's also going to be another one where, again, not much price history. I don't know exactly why, but this die break is going to be all through sort of Liberty's hair. It cuts into the field of the coin and sort of goes all around, but the most prominent part is going to be like some forked lightning up by the R and then below the T. So pretty significant break. There's also going to be these double leaves at the bottom of the coin on the VAM 3. So you could see the double leaves all through the back by the talons, and then some small separation sort of all through the leaves sprouting at the very bottom and then in the feathers. But this one is going to be about $150 in AU, which is not a huge, it's a pretty significant jump, actually. I wouldn't say that's not a huge jump. It doesn't compare to the big increase at Mint State 63, and then not a huge at Mint State 65, just because before it's already expensive. So, but it's still like adding $400. Certainly will make the coin way easier to sell at a premium to the regular version. So you can look for these small varieties in already slabbed coins as well, and then resubmit them or to sell them, knowing that they have the VAM. There's also going to be this doubled motto, pretty clear doubling. You can also see it in the engraver's initials, a little bit in the 2, but really that separation lines in the R and the T are nice to behold. And this one, $1,000 in Mint State 63. That's a really big jump, and something, one of the big ones to be on the lookout for. I'll put it that way. There's also going to be this tripled reverse. It's marked by this little, I don't know if it's a a little die chip cut or a gouge or whatever it is in the tiara, but then also, again, in the leaves, if you look, some levels of separation sort of in the stems, on the talons, not as tripled as you would think it might be, but it's there. And Mint State 63 worth $450, AU 55 only 100, but still nice increases. In terms of this one, actually, I forgot about this one. Nice retained die break all through the front of the coin. Again, these die breaks and cuds, not much auction history, but this one's a strong cud all through Liberty's neck and then branches off all the way, sort of extending even into N. Here's what I was talking about. This is a date where you want to look for the rotated dies. There's this one known, XF45, so well-worn normally would be a $20 coin or so, but here in 2012 sold for $275. The rotated dies, basically the dies just were not struck in the normal alignment and were slightly out of that, resulting in this, it's not off-center, it's really just called rotated dies, because one of them is improperly rotated. People pay up for that, and then this was the other one to find. I thought that this would be nicer. This was a little bit, recently Mint State 65 prices have increased. This is a pretty attractive coin. It's a struck through error, so when the die came down, there was something between the planchet and the die, and that got struck through, so there's much less detail in the tiara, and it's been clear that whatever got struck, no longer there, got discarded, and this sold for $400. But that brings us to the end of today. Hope that you have some good information. You can find some of these VAMs. They're certainly still out there, though the cuds are a little easier to spot, so they could be tougher to find, often more valuable, but there's really a lot of good variety here. And then also enjoyed sort of just learning more about the 22D. Thanks for watching the video. I'd encourage you to like the video, comment, and make sure to subscribe to my channel. And I also have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and some other social media platforms. You can also go to my main channel website, treasuretownYT.com, to learn more about the channel and sort of stay in contact. I also will eventually host all of these videos on coinsmetalscards.com, which will be both news, marketplace, and coin information. I do have the goal of eventually getting pretty much every US coin, date, mint mark, denomination on the channel with a similar video to the one that you just watched, and that will likely all be hosted there. And then I also have treasuretowncoins.com, which is sort of my coin dealing wing, coin dealing only entity that is a little bit less focused on content production. So thank you so much, and I'll look forward to seeing you on some of my other videos. I also have videos that are not just the date, mint mark, denomination recap in this format, so you can check some of those out, and I'll have fun seeing you there.